As many states, including Ohio, are ramping up their mail-in voting options in an attempt to help slow the spread of COVID-19, there's a lot of political rhetoric surrounding it.
Yeah, claims of potential voter fraud and voter suppression. We are getting a lot of questions from you about it, too. So tonight, News 5's Emily Hamilton goes in depth to sort out the debate around voting by mail.
Here in Ohio, mail-in voting has been a popular choice for more than 20 years. But how could a strain on the U.S. Postal Service affect the November election? And what's the difference between mail-in voting and absentee voting, if any? While the semantics vary state to state, the terms mail-in voting versus absentee voting and even universal vote by mail are causing major confusion.
One time you had to prove that you were going to be out of town. Now anybody can vote by mail for any reason at all in Ohio.
Voting advocacy experts say here in Ohio, absentee and mail-in voting are the same thing.
The place where it still overlaps is online. The Secretary of State's website calls it absentee voting. If you go to the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections website, they call it vote by mail, but it's the same thing.
Cuyahoga County Executive Armand Budish is calling President Trump's latest comments about the U.S. Postal Service dangerous and irresponsible.
There really isn't any evidence that mail-in voting leads to voter fraud.
But we caught up with a postal worker of 36 years who says the USPS is struggling to keep up.
Mail backing up, low workforce, people overworking, working long hours.
And says for fair and accurate election results come November, something's gotta give.
There's been a wrench, I'm gonna say, thrown into the Postal Service processing of the mail. So that wrench has to come out for the machine to work right.
If you choose to vote by mail in Ohio, experts recommend submitting your ballot at least a week before Election Day.
We don't want anything to prohibit that or get in the way of people exercising their right.
Ohio voters can request mail-in ballots now until October 31st. We have more voting information for you on our News 5 app. Just look for the Election 2020 tab. Emily Hamilton, News 5.
And here's a quick look at some of the voting deadlines in Ohio you need to be aware of. The deadline to register to vote is Monday, October 5th. Absentee voting begins October 6th and runs until November 2nd. But as Emily just told us, you have to request a mail-in ballot by October 31st. And Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd.